Welcome back to Forever United TV, everybody. It's Friday evening, and boy, have we got a lot to talk about. What a day of news it has been. It's difficult to figure out where we start with today's news, with what's going on with Manchester United. We got a lot, and on top of that, we're going to need an extra bit of content to deal with it, as if we'd not done enough all day already. We're going to be live right after this live stream over on Big Up, taking your calls so you can have your say as well. Extended show on a Friday night, as always, everybody. The transfer update, weekly update show where you can have your call in and your chance to speak to me is on Big Up right after this. But we do have to get through the necessaries. Man, I've been busy today. I don't think it's stopped today, the news. We have so many updates. Mbeumo, Gyökeres. We have updates on Ekitiké, on Jadon Sancho, Victor Osimhen. We have all of that. So we covered what we could throughout the day because there's that much. If you haven't watched the other videos, then we've got my initial reaction to Spurs coming in for Mbeumo. That's on the channel, so you can go and watch all of this after the show finishes as well. And the details of Martinez's situation and what he is doing right now as well. I've got a little bit on that actually on tonight's show as well that you'll add in. But yeah, we're going to start with Victor Gyökeres. I think it's the only safe place, as soon as though we've not talked about him much recently. I mean, it's off its head, isn't it, right now, this transfer window? My God. I did say that this so-called deadline day on Tuesday wasn't going to make a difference. And we've had 3 days of absolute carnage when it comes to Man United's news. But today has tipped it. Today has definitely hit the top mark when it comes to news, speculation, rumours, everything. My God. Right. Welcome along, everyone. Get involved in the live chat as you always do, you absolute legends. He's baking hot in Manchester again this afternoon. I don't know what's happening here. It's hot out here on the streets, and it's hot at Manchester United right now with transfers. Honestly, I don't know where I'm turning at the moment. Yeah, but let's have a look into what's happening first of all. Victor Gyökeres is where I'm going. You can see it across the bottom of your screen going in there. And the news has come out. Look, so first of all, so you're up to date with where we're actually at, as we covered this morning regarding Arsenal coming in with another bid. Apparently, now, this from the Arsenal side of things is that their bid isn't real. They actually haven't bid right now. So the Portuguese, remember when we were talking about it the other day? And I said these Portuguese reports are speculating that Manchester United and Arsenal both put their bids in. Well, we have an update on that from an English version, and it's completely different. No surprise, because the Portuguese do like to drive people mental with their reports and their stories. And we'll get into this now. One thing that the Portuguese media, O Jogo, has said today, that is a publication over there in Portugal, is that Sporting are already looking for Gyökeres' replacement. They know that he won't be playing there next season. So we move on to that. Arsenal haven't bid for Gyökeres, apparently, either. And are fully concentrating on Benjamin Sesko. Like I said the other day, that seemed to be their top target. And with them going through the motions of that transfer, it would seem strange if they came in for Gyökeres. Now, Manchester United, and Sean Conley has spoken about this one, who's been doing a little bit of work in and around Manchester United, talking to a few people at Carrington. I've seen some pieces of his as well over the last few months. Small name on X if you try to search him up, but has actually hit the mark of a couple of points. So I wanted to bring his up, but it is in line with quite a few other sources anyway. And he is saying that Manchester United will make an official approach for Victor Gyökeres soon. Manchester United will offer a package deal, and this is in pounds. I'm only going off what's written. This is in pounds, so this is different to what was quoted in terms of what the president of Sporting was going apeshit about the other day. £60 million plus add-ons, similar to the Bruno Fernandes deal that Manchester United paid Sporting for all them years ago. And I've said this before, Man United's relationship with Sporting is excellent. And the club don't want to tarnish that by going down the side of an agent and a player. Look, United want the player. They know they can work something with the player. They're just trying not to get involved with all of the crap that's going on between Sporting and Victor Gyökeres and his agent right now. So that's where Man United's front on that is. But he's actually saying here, Connolly, that Manchester United are preparing that bid very, very soon. And going off the back of what David Ornstein has said as well regarding Arsenal and Arsenal's approach on this. I'm bringing Arsenal in because we know that it's United and Arsenal. And it does look like things all of a sudden have sort of moved across for them towards Sesko. It's gone a bit quiet today for Arsenal regarding Gyökeres. and it looks like Benjamin Sesko talks are moving forward. Look, again, I would not be surprised if this changed around and Manchester United then went back in for somebody else, or they pivoted across to Hugo Ekitiké. Now, on the Gyökeres situation right now, he is still #1 target for Manchester United, and they're saying that this bid is actually going in. They're saying that this bid is definitely going to happen for Victor Gyökeres, and if it's 60 million plus add-ons, it all depends on the add-ons for Manchester United. This is going to take this way over 70 million euros for Victor Gyökeres, and then we're getting a lot closer to the fee that Sporting want. Is this, and if this story is true, this is Manchester United backing Ruben Amorim all the way. Now that's how I see it. This is fully Man United all in on backing Ruben, because if we do get Gyökeres in, and it is for this so-called fee, I mean, you just have to add it up here basically. When you go in with, let's just say we go in with that price and what's been quoted. I'm just going to do my sums again here now. Right, so that would approximately be 70 to 71. Let's round it up because it is closer to 71. 71 million euros is Manchester United's base rate according to this report, and it is according to this report. Now, a couple of other people have been talking about this sort of number. It's not a guarantee, but you can imagine this is the talk of what kind of deal gets it done. What kind of offer gets the deal done. So 71 million euros plus add-ons, that's taking it closer to what we would expect it to be, which is approximately 80 million euros. Now, that straight away is more than what Gyökeres and his agents were hoping for. Look, all they want is to be out of the club. And if Manchester United know that Gyökeres is fully committed to them, wants to go to them, then Ruben will be on the blower to Wilcox. He'll be knocking on the door of Omar Barada, and he'll be saying, look, this man gets us this money back and some instantly. I mean, obviously it's just tongue-in-cheek in what I'm saying there. He's not going to say them word for word, obviously, but you get what I'm saying here. It is Ruben then pushing very, very hard on getting this deal done and getting everything over the line. I think that this now becomes a very, very, very big priority for Manchester United when it comes to this striker and this transfer in particular. It does look like Manchester United will be going all in. And then all of a sudden, have you noticed something else as well with what's happening with Victor Gyökeres right now? All the talk of Manchester United and selling players has disappeared a little bit. Now, Romano has obviously gone with the obvious, which is that they need to please the president of Sporting first of all. They need to come to some form of agreement and take Gyökeres out of the situation, I think. Because if you're going to leave this situation to develop over the sake of Gyökeres, if you're going to leave this to develop and let Gyökeres and his agent speak to the club and let them just play this out on what fee's right and what's not, and then this is going to carry on forever and a day, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare. What a club like Manchester United can do is just go in and say, look, forget about all of that crap going on. Here's what we want to pay for Victor Gyökeres. Where does this stand? It's more than what the 70 million his agent and the player is wanting. Can we do business at that? It looks like you have stood your ground and won. And we have obviously got a deal that we like. The player's happy. He's not going to kick up a stink and bring up some previous history that you don't want airing out all over the media and the mainstream media and TV and whatever, because that's what will happen in Portugal. And let's just move this forward. I can only imagine that is a sensible look on things. And again, that's just how someone normal like me, would actually look at things. But you know that if United go in with a better bid, then this takes all of the aggro out of the situation, because we're not even talking about Sporting and the agent of Victor Gyökeres. It's done. This is the bid accepted, and Gyökeres has got permission to speak to Manchester United and finalise the personal terms. There has been no update on the personal terms, by the way, for Victor Gyökeres. There was a story going around that Victor and his agents were causing a little bit of a problem with Manchester United from a couple of reports. But they were also the reports that were going in on the Arsenal bid that's going in, which apparently hasn't gone in, according to some. And again, he says, she says, they say, we say, pay the money and get the deal done. When you break it down, that is all you can say, really, and that's the only thing that is going to get anything finalised for Manchester United if they really do want Victor Gyökeres. On the Ekitiké front, and where we're at with that, is Florian Plettenberg today has done an update on that situation. Say Liverpool do need to move players on first. Now that opens up the door for Manchester United, possibly Chelsea. Always been said that Chelsea have made contact with Frankfurt for Ekitiké, but they have only made contact over conditions, nothing formal, nothing significant for them at all yet. So that's where we're at with Chelsea's side of things. Liverpool need to sell players, says Plettenberg, in terms of moving Ekitiké in. I get that. That makes sense because obviously you've brought in Wirtz, you've got Diaz there, you've got Jota there, you've got Núñez there. Obviously, you've got to move some. I mean, Gakpo's not going to go anywhere, is he, at the moment? I don't think. You've got a couple of players there that you're probably going to have to move on. And obviously, Núñez and Diaz are the one that are the talking points right now, especially with Ansu Fati leaving, which looks pretty much done, from Barcelona to Monaco. That's going to bring up the talk now on the Marcus Rashford situation and Luis Diaz situation at Liverpool. But as it stands, Liverpool are not getting anywhere near what they want out of Barcelona in negotiations on that one. I've been talking about this on Football Talks as well recently. Barcelona just don't pay good money. So does it bring Rashford into the situation? We will see on that one. But also with Ekitiké there, it just stops Liverpool in their tracks because he is a high price. Plettenberg also saying that we are in a position here with Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester United. They have all been told the same story, which is Ekitiké is a €100 million player. And they don't have to sell. That's 85 million quid. It sounds good and it sounds fantastic for Manchester United to get that type of player in. But again, I am not seeing Man United near enough breaking their own transfer record to try and bring in a 22-year-old unproven French forward into the Premier League. I don't see United doing that. So as much as I like Ekitiké, and I can see why, unless United bring that price down, it's not going to happen. And it only happens if, of course, Sporting send Man United packing regarding Gyökeres. And Romano has said constantly Manchester United are in touch with Sporting daily. Ruben is in touch with Victor daily. And this is Manchester United's main priority. So in them two cases right now, it's looking more likely that there's a bid going for Gyökeres than any movement at all towards Ekitiké. Even though Florian Plettenberg has said Manchester United have concrete interest now and have made formal contact with Frankfurt over the transfer. So that's where we're at with Ekitiké and Victor Gyökeres. I'm going to pop into the chat first of all to gauge your thoughts on this, everybody. So please do let me know where you're at in terms of these deals. What's happening to your day? Is it affected by all of this? Alex says, thank you, Alex, for that one. Getting a vibe that some clubs and players think United are operating the old way of paying stupid money and wages. I'll come to that in a moment, actually, Alex. Good comment, mate. Just pay it for God's sake. We can't just pay it, Welshman Forever. That's the thing. It sets that tone and it sends that message out that Manchester United are the pushovers. You've got to set a standard. You've got to set a level right now in this transfer window. You've got to say to clubs, look, we're not here to be taking the mick out of anymore. We're not your free ride to the bank manager and making his day by giving you stupid amounts of money for players that are probably not worth that money. This isn't Manchester United of old anymore. And this, for one, is why I'm excited about what's happening. And why Manchester United haven't just gone bang, bang, bang and got this deal done with anybody this summer. Like, they took their time with Cunha. They made sure that the structure and the payments were right and it fitted what Manchester United wanted to do in terms of how many payments, how long it goes over. They wanted to get that right. The wages are right for Cunha. We'll talk about him in a minute at the end of this show, actually, because he's been talking, obviously, in his first interview at Manchester United, which is great. But, again, it isn't the rollover Manchester United scenario anymore. It's different. Alex, welcome to the Members Club as well. Thank you, my man. And United, I think they've got everything in order, and I'm happy with where we're at right now still. I'll keep on saying that. There's a lot happened and there's a lot to digest in terms of Manchester United right now. We will lose these players, take my word. I don't believe we will, Welshman. And to be honest, if we do, then so what? Look, United will only buy the players that want to come to the club, that they can afford, that they're willing to pay the certain price for. Bryan Mbeumo is not worth any more than 65 million quid. He's not, and everybody knows this. Victor Gyökeres right now, if we are about to put in £71 million down, that is fair, mate. That is fair. And let's be honest, there's no one significant anywhere else apart from what crap is going on, which I'm going to talk about, bidding for any of Man United's players right now. I think United are in pole position, it seems, for Gyökeres again after the stories from today. And of course, we'll move on to Bryan Mbeumo in a moment. I think we're still very, very comfortable there. Ronald says, by Sporting increasing the price for Victor Gyökeres, agent cannot demand the planned sign-on fee. Clubs will refuse to pay the agent's signing fee and will reduce it since they have to pay the club more. See, this is now where it comes down to, again, how much power the agents have got. It's a fair point from Ronald there. But there will be a agent's fee on this for him. There has to be a percentage. It usually goes around about I can't remember what it was actually, what the percentage was for agents, but there will be something there which is going to add up to quite a significant amount of money. Maybe 10%, I think it is, on a transfer fee or something like that United also have to pay and work in. So this is where the structuring of the deal actually breaks down. And how Manchester United balance it all. It's wages, it's initial payments, it's instalment payments, it's agents' fees, it's everything like that put together and then spread over the period of maybe 4 to 5 years for PSR purposes. And that's how Manchester United look at the transfer, not the initial fee. It's what works out best for them. So they're putting the wage package together, they're putting the transfer fee together, and they're making it all calculate right for them. And that's how it works. United won't pay 70 million, says Paul. Realist is still a person who works in the football industry, and it's not putting false news, fella. I'm not talking. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Let's see what else we've got in here chat-wise. At least Sancho and Casemiro and Maguire will be gone after this season. Loads of saved on wages after this season. I might have to upset you on that one there. If you haven't watched the Emi Martinez video from earlier on, obviously wait until we've finished here, but there's some interesting news at the back end of that, and we're going to talk about something regarding Jadon Sancho in this video as well also. But anyway, thank you for all the likes that you've all piled in with already. We're already well on the way to that 300 live like mark. Let's get that up to over 5 probably today on this one. Thank you for all your participation throughout the day. As always, the content has been absolutely banging, everybody, and your inputs into it has been top notch as always. Right. In we go with the Mbeumo situation. This has been absolutely tearing everyone a new one all day. It really has. It's been a minefield today, this one. So, what happened earlier on? It came from Darren Lewis from the Daily Mirror, and I put a tweet out about this. I made a video about it earlier on. I wanted to just give an initial reaction to this because people were stressing and sending me messages in other videos about Mbeumo, what's happening with Mbeumo? Well, nothing's happening with Mbeumo because this is a load of crap basically coming out from the Mirror quoting Sky. Now, Darren Lewis works very close with Sky on Sunday shows, have you seen, working with the papers, and he has made or manufactured a story out of complete and utter nowhere. It was there before with the Mirror. They were the ones driving this, that Thomas Frank has said to go in for Bryan Mbeumo and get this deal done. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, whichever way you look at it. There has been no bid for Bryan Mbeumo from Spurs. I'll just read out the latest right now. There is a mutual interest between United and Bryan Mbeumo. United are preparing a second, more substantial bid for the winger, particularly in response to the growing interest from Spurs. The club is keen to secure its top targets swiftly. So United have never been pushed on their transfer targets just yet, but it does look like we have been pushed into action a little bit with these two. Now, Bryan Mbeumo, I said this before on the video, why would he go to Spurs right now? Honestly, someone would say, well, they're going to beat us, they're going to outbid Manchester United, they're going to pay him more. Not on either of them. I don't believe Spurs are about to drop 70 million having just come to the table for Brian Mbeumo, and bringing a player that has got massive amounts of competition already in that position. You've got Dejan Kulusevski, you've got Brennan Johnson, all play on that same side that Brian Mbeumo does. Yes, Spurs need depth, but they don't need to be blowing 70 million to buy another player for that position when they need a striker, they need a centre-back, they need a goalkeeper, they need a lot of other positions, rather than blowing a massive part of their budget. And by the way, it would be a club record bid for Brian Mbeumo. Can you see Levy doing that? Also matching the wages of the player that's already said he prefers to go to Manchester United, already turning down clubs like Arsenal and Newcastle, who are also in the Champions League, who are also competing to stay in the Champions League and for the Champions League, rather than Spurs' one season in the Champions League, because that's all it will be. They'll be out of Europe this season very quickly with the competition that's there, and obviously then they're not going to be able to get back into the Champions League through Premier League avenues, will they? No, they won't. So what's Mbeumo got to go to Spurs for? A competition for places when he can nail one down at Manchester United under a new project under Ruben Amorim on decent wages? Again, like he has said that he wants Manchester United. Tottenham cannot offer him anything except one season in the Champions League. And then what happens past that? He's stuck then in another mid-table team like he's just left. He's gone from one Brentford to another. Thomas Frank is going to be a mid-table manager for Spurs, and we know this. That's his level. I like Frank, but that's his level. You're not buying a manager here that's going to take Spurs right to the top. Look, you're going to be in and around mid-table where you was last season, having gone out of the playoff at best stage of the Champions League. That's what he's going to get at Spurs. On less money he would at Man United, under a less enthusiastic project, which is basically languishing in mid-table, because Levy won't break his transfer structure or his wage structure, and he wants to make sure that the club's finances are safe for all of the shareholders involved at Spurs. Brian Mbeumo is not going to Spurs. I'm going to make this clear now. If Brian Mbeumo goes to Spurs, I will be absolutely amazed, and I will stand there with the big fat L on my head. I'll get the learner sticker and stick it on my head. I'll do that if he signs for Spurs. It ain't happening. I'm telling you right now, everything that I've just explained just makes no sense whatsoever. So Darren Lewis can come out with this absolute baloney story. By the way, in that story, if you read into the detail, he has still said in that story that Manchester United is still the preferred option for Brian Mbeumo. So he's really made a big headline, a big clickbait headline, and then in it said that he still loves and prefers the option for Manchester United. It's complete and utter nonsense, and he's a non-starter. It is a headline-hogging, absolute push from Brentford to try and get that final bit of money out of Manchester United for Brian Mbeumo. He will be a United player. The bid will go in. It will be closer to what Brentford wants. And they know that the player isn't going to go anywhere else. They are stuck. So that, for me, is the reality out of all of it. You can differ and you can worry if you want. That's fine. I get it. But you've just got to look at the facts. You've got to look at what's actually going on with this deal, where United are at, how far down the line United are, what Spurs have already got, and what they're up against in Levy. And it's a big fat no from me, I would think, on that one. And yeah, I mean, let's get into the comments on that one. Did it scare you before, or did my video put you at ease with everything that was happening? Talk to me, everyone. Get into the chats. It makes sense that Gyökeres could go to Arsenal, but Mbeumo going to Spurs, that doesn't make sense at all. It's a fair comment, actually. That's like saying Eddie Howe can only take Newcastle United to mid-table. No, it's not, is it, really? Because he has got ambitious owners who want to spend money, and Daniel Levy will never spend money at Spurs. He's got a track record of it. When Newcastle break into that July 1st mode transfer window, you watch what they spend. I'm telling you right now, there is no comparison at all to it. And I'm only bringing Newcastle into this because Brian Mbeumo's turned them down. That's it already. Why would he go Spurs? Thomas Frank is not going to take Spurs to the Champions League places this season. I can tell you now, he's got to handle Europe, for one, which Spurs have struggled to do all season. And he's got no experience of doing it. He's got no experience of European football at the highest level. He's got no experience of fighting for the Champions League places. Spurs have replaced Ange Postecoglou with Thomas Frank, and he's at the same level, if not a lower level. He's never won anything. So I just don't get the actual move for Thomas Frank at all. I really don't. I mean, I like him as a manager, but if you're looking to try and move up from where you are this season, he's not going to get any better apart from maybe a few places in the league table. He's going to make Spurs a little bit better. Yeah, he'll be a little bit more pragmatic, I think, and make them a bit more solid and harder to beat. But that's not going to get you right up there into the Champions League places. Not a cat in hell's chance. No way. Let's get a few more comments in. Craig, thank you for that renewed membership. Spurs can have an honour. Yeah, they can if they want. I'd like a loan deal if it meant near the 30s mark. That would allow us to buy one more season and go after a proper number 8 next summer, as in loaning someone in there, says Top Gun. I hope we get Spurs at home first game and stuff them, says Babs. I hope we get them away and stuff them. Hello, my Manchester United fam. Good evening from Vancouver. Good evening, mate. Hello, TK. Let's get a couple more in. Probably more chance of Spurs buying Garnacho from us than them going for Mbeumo. Yeah, and I said in that video as well, Spurs are actually suing Manchester United at the moment for breach of contract, in their words, for cutting their sponsorship deal from their automotive sector by 2 years. It's a script that Hollywood needs to write, to be honest, with United and Spurs right now. It is funny. It really is. Just going to check through everything as we are live quickly. For Fawnster 11, thank you for that super chat, mate. What happens to Rashford, Nico to drop a wage for Barca? We will see. We will see what happens with that. I'll move on to that in a moment, actually, because we have got quite a bit to get through. I'm getting carried away with myself again. Let's just see where we're at right now and just double check that there is nothing else that has dropped on us, because there is quite a lot going down right now. Bear with me 1 second, everyone. I'm just into the news now. Now United have been taken to the High Court. Did you see the news about Pogba going to Monaco as well? Pogba's back. Pog back again. Except he is... Yeah, he's going to Monaco. Right. Let's get into everything else then, shall we? We've touched on Gyökeres and where that situation is at. And Mbeumo, we've just covered that. Osimhen. Now, there was talks going around earlier on regarding Victor Osimhen that Manchester United had reopened negotiations with the centre forward, the Napoli centre forward, and there was thought that there could be some form of compromise. Now, the story read that he wants 200 grand a week wages. Everybody went into like, well, okay, he has dropped his wages then. He is demanding 10 million a year after tax, which adds up to approximately £350,000 a week Manchester United would have to fork out for Victor Gyökeres. Now, the debate is there whether you think Victor Gyökeres is worth that type of money for being one of the most elite strikers on the planet, but it is a massive gamble. Manchester United went into these so-called talks, even if they did happen, with hope that something else might actually change regarding the look of it from Victor Osimhen. Look, nothing has changed. He still wants absolutely astronomical money, and I just think he's way down the list now. When I said before, Man United look at these deals in packages, wages, actual transfer fee together, Victor Osimhen starts to go ahead of someone like Ekitéke's price when you put the wage into factor. So that, I think, again for Man United is why we're looking at Ekitiké. I think we did maybe look at Osimhen again and go, right, okay, what's changing? What can we make work here with this? Absolutely nothing, because he doesn't want to change his demands on his wages. So that ultimately is why Manchester United probably pivoted across to Hugo Ekitike. Now, I brought you up to date with that situation and what Plettenberg said from Frankfurt's stance on things. It's going to be difficult for United to get Ekitike, and it's going to be a big push from some people at United who really love that player for this club to fork out that amount of money. It's going to be upwards of 80 million quid for Ekitike, and that as a PSR package, actually, with the wages that we're probably paying Ekitike, is going to be less than what it would be for Victor Gyökeres. So, going back to what I said, it's not all about the transfer fees. It's about the package of the PSR. The bonus, add-ons, the structure of the actual transfer and what it is a month, the wages, the agent fees, everything like that gets put into one big pot, and then it's split up over 4 to 5 years, and then it calculates into what's more affordable. If United have got a younger player, and this is how Chelsea work it, then that money is paid off in good time, and obviously that player is still contracted as well on them cheaper wages. The PSR is paid within 4 or 5 years. They've still got a few years to run, so no drama about actually selling that player on at all. It's not costing the club anywhere near a worrying amount of money, and then they can sell them on easier because the fees are paid off. They're still contracted. They don't have to change their pricing for the contracts of them players because they're on long-term deals. And obviously, you've got a lot more sell-on factor with these players. It would always be, I feel, now Ekitiké over Osimhen. Osimhen's moved down to about 4th in the list now for me, going off what's been said today anyway. And it makes sense why United have looked at Ekitiké because it is probably cheaper than Osimhen, even though the transfer fee is less, if that makes sense. I think that does make sense overall. Just going back, like Manchester United paid more than what the release was for Joshua Zirkzee so they could get a better deal in terms of payments monthly. Similar. The player can look different on a transfer fee, but it may work out cheaper in payments. And that's where it matters for Manchester United. So that's where we're up to with Ekitiké and Osimhen. Osimhen is behind Ekitiké, I feel, at the moment. I really do. I think for Manchester United, it looks like a safer bet. It does, because they can put him on a big 5 to 6 year contract on very, very lower wages compared to what Victor Osimhen is. And he's got a future sell-on where Osimhen doesn't. Because if he's at the end of his contract, he's then into his 30s if you're buying Osimhen at age 27. So that is where Manchester United are now at when it comes to the deals that are in play for the forwards anyway. But yeah, keep your comments flying in on that one, everybody. Let me know. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of the likes, by the way. Absolutely smashing the like button there you are. You absolute crazy bunch. Love it, though. Thank you for all the support, as always. Don't forget, after this show, we're going to be moving across. We're pivoting ourselves over to Big Up, and we're going to be running that show. Don't forget as well, guys, the shop is open for the retro shirts and up-to-date kits for Manchester United. The link is in the description, everybody. So go and check that out. There was a slight glitch on the website the other day as they upgraded it. It's now well fixed. Loads of you have seen, I've been told, have bought shirts just today alone at them cheap prices. Go for it, please. Go for it. Okay, moving into the Jadon Sancho situation. Now, earlier on, I did a video on Emi Martinez. On the back end of that video, and just updating you all on the news and what was going around, went into the Jadon Sancho situation where Manchester United might have to extend Jadon Sancho's contract another year. Sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? It really does. But hear me out on this one. This is where it makes a little bit more sense. If United were to loan Jadon Sancho out this summer without extending his contract, then he leaves for free next summer. If United were to extend that contract and then get most of his wages paid this season on loan with an obligation to buy at the end of the season, they then look at not having to deal with that last year of his contract, which won't cost us any more, and they get a fee as well. So you get it. If you extend his contract, yes, it sounds like we're extending someone on stupid amounts of money, but I think we would extend his contract only if we were able to loan him out at the end of this season. If we can loan him out with an obligation, then we can do it. Now, Graham Bailey has come out in the news this evening and said that Manchester United's Jadon Sancho is of big interest, and I've been saying this for quite a bit now, to Aston Villa. Aston Villa are well and truly in for Jadon Sancho, and he is definitely a player that they're looking at because he's affordable to them. Yes, the wages are a bit of a problem, but obviously we know that they can afford Jadon Sancho's wages because of what they were paying for Marcus Rashford last season. We could argue the fact that, yes, they're not in the Champions League, and that money from the Champions League was probably going a long way to funding Marcus Rashford's wages, but you could also say that they might be willing. And again, funny how I put Jadon Sancho in my Emi Martinez video earlier on, and now Villa are interested in Jadon Sancho. So whenever I get talk of anybody wanting to move to Aston Villa from Manchester United, I automatically go, oh, light bulb. Could we do a deal possibly to get Emi Martinez the other way? if Villa want Sancho, I'm thinking, yeah, please, let me get that in right now. I want that. Yes, please get me Jadon Sancho through the door at Villa and get Emi Martinez the other way. Is that not a sensible transaction for Manchester United? Is that not sensible soccer right there, everybody? I think it is. I really do think it is. And when you look at it from every angle, I'm thinking, yeah, even if they wanted a loan with obligation to help their finances and they sorted us out with Emi Martinez a little bit cheaper, I'm going to go, I love that deal. I think that hits every single mark that we need it to hit. We get rid of Sancho. Most of his wages are gone. We bring in a better goalkeeper. And then we can just sit there and say, well, we did this deal because it helped us get a cheaper deal for Emi Martinez. And obviously then if Onana doesn't want to go, then he can sit behind Emi Martinez and United can sell Onana next season. Look, it's a big if, and it's a big what if sort of scenario. But obviously you've got to look at what advantages players coming in for your players brings you. And that, I think, is working on every angle, because United are into the last year of payments for Jadon Sancho. It's the last year of his contract. Look, we could just say to him, look, we've extended Jadon Sancho's contract, loan him. Obligation to buy him at the end of the season. That helps your finances. It brings in the other forward that you want. And, of course, you look at Man United needing a goalkeeper. Thank you. In you come. And we're basically getting most of Jadon Sancho's wages paid for. We've got a goalkeeper that we want that is top-notch, and his wages are not too absurd. It works out on so many different levels, doesn't it? I know I'm playing Championship Manager and a bit of FIFA right now and getting carried away with myself. I do like to add a little bit of fun to the streams. I mean, come on, you got to give me my little bit of something in this. But, yeah, in terms of that Jadon Sancho situation, Villa 100% in for Jadon Sancho. Oh, I'm buzzing with that news. If that can come off and we can just get that guy out, even if United have to do the necessary, and I mean the season-long loan with obligation again, if we have to extend his contracts, by all means, get what necessary done. And if we can't get the money for Jadon Sancho this summer, but we get it next summer, and then go for it. Look, we still got to sell Garnacho as well. Which also takes us on to the next problem child at Manchester United, Marcus Rashford. Now, Marcus Rashford, obviously, we know is backing Man United into a corner because he wants Barcelona. Barcelona have just announced the signing of Juan Garcia, by the way. How that is affecting their finances, I do not know. Is that money being used by the money that they're about to get for Ansu Fati for his move from Barca to Monaco? That deal is going through, according to Fabrizio Romano. The here we go is pretty much done and dusted with him. And we are now waiting to see if that does then move Barcelona into the realms of going for Marcus Rashford. And I've not got much hope, because I said before, touching on the Liverpool and Ekitiké situation, Barcelona are not willing to pay Liverpool what they want for Luis Diaz. They don't want to do it. Barcelona don't want to pay money for anybody. They are a nightmare to deal with. They are a problem club, that club. And I just don't think Man United will ever want to do business with them ever again. Especially after the sort of around the houses situation we had with Frenkie de Jong. They sent us on a merry race with that one, didn't they? But again, I just don't think that Marcus Rashford, I don't see how he gets his wish. I think it's going to come down to a desperate end of the deadline day sort of scenario again with Marcus. I don't see how he wins in this situation at all. And I think he's a bit naive in what he's thinking here. Look, if Ansu Fati frees up funds for Barcelona and they can go and take Marcus Rashford, great. Fantastic. I love it. I don't count on it, though, is what I'm saying. It's Barcelona at the end of the day, and they are a rule on their own when it comes to football finance and dealing with transfers in particular anyway. Right. Problem with obligation to buy Adam is, what if the club break their promise to buy Sancho off United? Look, you can put something in that contract with no get out. You can negotiate that yourselves. Like, obviously, there is penalties for Jadon Sancho that we probably didn't expect Chelsea to want to pay, but they did. So United just have to renegotiate it. Obligation has to be obligation this time for Jadon Sancho for Manchester United. Renewing his contract will come with, I think, security within United that the obligation is going to definitely work at the end of that season. It has to do it. It has to be. But yeah, it is going to be down to Manchester United to sort this out. Let's see what we've got. If Spurs had paid 70 million for Mbeumo, they could have him, says Tobias. I mean, a lot of people would say the same. Look, if he's going for 70 million and he can go for 70 million, it's not worth that much money. That's what a lot of people would say. Any further truth that Amorim asked Rasmus to change his name via Depot to Love the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Highland? Not much truth in that one, mate. Wishful thinking, I'm afraid. The stance on Rasmus is the same. Manchester United are deciding what they are doing with him. And this is all going to come down to what striker comes in. I don't think United are going to stand on ceremony. They're not going to wait for... They're not going to move Rasmus Højlund on and then bring a striker in. They're going to bring a striker in and then deal with the situation. They want their targets first. It's like the first story we said. They want to get these targets wrapped up as quick as possible. And it's Mbeumo and Gyökeres. Until we get the definite no's or they get the here we goes. I rhymed it then. That was good. I like it. Then there is going to be no other news. United could pivot to other targets. And there are other targets. By the way, Spurs are also showing very, very significant interest in Tyler Diblin and Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth. 2 targets of Man United as well. So Bryan Mbeumo, again, going back to that Spurs story. No. With a double dose of no on the side is what we're looking at. That is basically where Manchester United are confident in the Mbeumo deal, because Spurs have other targets. It's as simple as that. That is where we're actually at. Quickly, everybody, as well, just wanted to do a quick shout out to our match sponsors as well. We have got some historical games going on right now on Match Bingo, everybody. They are our match day partners. Obviously, there's no games on right now, but we're doing historical games where you can win instantly on the game there. Use the link or scan the QR code on your screen. The link is in the live chat and in the description right now. All you have to do is match up 15 match events to be in with a chance of winning £300 near enough on every single game. It's only £2 to play, and if you do buy 4 match bingo cards now, you will get an extra one free. And on top of that, if you are a new customer and you use my link there to download the app and deposit £5, then you will get another £10 to use on the game also. There are games on there daily. It's not just the live stuff as well. Get into the games. They do darts, they do women's football as well. There's a load of fun games on there. £2 to go. And there's been many people in our chat alone that have won on Match Bingo constantly. So make sure that you do get involved and that you are missing out if you don't. It's a fun game. And it definitely has a little bit of excitement to it as well. Match Bingo, bringing the Match Bingo cards to the games. And it has changed my match days a few times. I'll say that definitely. Because I've had some wins on them myself. And like other people on here. A bit surprising, actually, because you don't pick anything. They do it all for you. You get your card and then you win off what they pick. Going off what happens in that game. It's a look at a draw type of game, but you have got a great chance of winning it because there are never too many people in the room, and it is cheap to play. You have to be 18 and above and a UK resident also. Sorry about that. If you are not in the UK, you cannot play the game, but get involved if you are. That's all I'm saying. Brilliant. Manchester United were the most watched team in the Premier League last season, despite enduring their worst ever campaign and a trend in declining viewing figures. Okay, we were the most watched team in... Like, everybody wants to watch Man United's demise. That was a story from the Daily Mail that came out there. Everybody always wants to watch Manchester United's demise. Whether we're losing, whether we're winning, we're in high demand, this football team. It always is the way, isn't it? Let's get some more comments in, everybody. You cannot see Andre Onana play last year and not insist on somebody else. Definitely not. There is no room for improvement there for Andre. He has already... done his damage, I think, and United will be looking to move that man on at the soonest opportunity. It's not hot transfers. It's just adorable about. It's just sorry, mate. There's too many typos in that one, I'm afraid, John. It gets me as well sometimes, the typos. Right. right, let's just see. Don't forget, everybody, after this show, we are flying across to Big Up, our other platform, where we're going to get some calls in from people, completely free. Jump across. The link is in the live chat now, everyone. So go across there, click on that link when we're finishing the show here, and you will be across, and you can call in and have a chat with me. Give me your say on these transfers and what's happening right now in Manchester United. Premier League viewing actually drops because United dropped off. Still the most watched side. Crazy, isn't it? Now that one of the worst United keepers of all time. I definitely agree with that one. 100%. You're not going to get any disagreement from me there. You know that already, though, everybody. Apparently, Osimhen will accept 195 grand a week to join after tax. And that adds up to over 300 million, I'm afraid. MF, you cannot get Osimhen on the cheap. I think United have tried. They have. I mean, they would go for Osimhen because he's younger than Gyökeres. And it looks like his transfer fee is going to be cheaper than Osimhen's as well, than Gyökeres' as well. And when you look at the situation right now, just to go over it all again so you're completely up to date, Manchester United are ready in their first bid for Victor Gyökeres. Unlike what Portuguese sources said, that bid is already in. United's bid is apparently £60 million sterling plus add-ons, and where that takes us to is a lot more than what the agent's fee, and Gyökeres' idea of a fee was, that was being reported amongst all of the fallout around Sporting and Gyökeres right now. But yeah, that is where that one is at. Manchester United are still very confident, and their second bid for Bryan Mbeumo is going in very, very soon. The verbal talking is almost done. The story regarding Mbeumo to Spurs is a hot air story. Don't believe in it. All the detail on that and more is in the other videos that I've done today, by the way, which is touching on Sancho, which is touching on Martinez. Go and give all them a watch once this show has finished, please, everyone. You will get all the extra information on them videos also. So yeah, I do implore you to go and watch them also. But that for now, everybody, is us all wrapped up. What a week that has been. It continues over on Big Up. That link in the live chat now will take you there. Everybody, please do jump across. If you want to have your say and have a call in, come and speak to me in a few moments' time over on Big Up. All that's left for me to say here on YouTube is thank you for what has been an epic week. I will be back on YouTube later on tonight if anything breaks. Hopefully not, so I can have a rest and have some food and chill and get maybe a beer. And I'll see you at 8 o'clock in the morning on YouTube. Thank you for everybody who drops a super chat in or contributed. New members, welcome to Forever United TV. New subscribers, hello, welcome to the show. Make sure you pop your comments in below. I said another rhyme. 2 poet and didn't know it moments in one stream. That is saying something. It's getting better, isn't it? It's always entertaining. Over 500 live likes. Absolutely epic, everybody. What a day of content that was. I will see you all over on Big Up. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you hit that subscribe button also. No, the like button also. Quickly, Rossi has just dropped a super chat in. You kind soul. Thank you, buddy. Adam, do we think Osimhen may have attitude issues? I don't know, mate. Looks like he does well on the pitch wherever he goes. If you've got to play with a temper, as long as he puts it out on the pitch and understands that it's him and his teammates against the opposition, I ain't got a problem with that. It could be handy if he gets on with a coach, though. I'll say that. And thank you for that super chat, Rossi, buddy. That is us done, everyone. I will see you all over on Big Up in just a moment's time. Enjoy your evening over